Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobby, and I will be your guide for today. Today, we're going to discuss a couple of topics. The first one is about lost wisdom. This was something that came up for me when I was channeling for somebody else. And the information was so cool that I said to her, we're going to have to bring this live. So this information is to do with way back in the Egyptian Roman times and lost wisdom from that time. And then I'm going to go into the future. So the future message that I got as a download was a wake-up call from a premonition or a dream that I had about these times from many years ago. And I'm pretty sure it's about early 2000s, because I'm pretty sure I was with my daughter's father at that moment. So it would have been early 2000s when this dream came through, and it is related to smart cities that are going to be developed. So let's get into this. I'll also do some channeling, like I'll tap into my guides after this and then channel some more messages through, and we'll see what else comes up. We do have a couple of small messages which are quite powerful, and yeah, I'll bring them up as well. Also, I just produced a really powerful poem, and it's about this, what's really going on. And I put that up on Rumble because I felt it was a little bit too much for YouTube. So if you want to have a look at that, go on my community page, subscribe to me, then you'll be able to link into my community page and you'll be able to get that link for Rumble. Or you can go on Rumble and search me up. It'll be Bobby the Messenger or Bobby Messenger. I think it's Bobby Messenger. And yeah, so go have a look at that. Plus, I uploaded another video on Rumble as well that had a little bit. I just wanted to get into the in-depth of some stuff that you just can't mention here. So yeah, go have a look at that. I've only just started the Rumble. I started a little while ago, a few months ago, and then I stopped. So I've started it up again just recently. Hey, Sky, good to see you. Yeah, it was an amazing poem. Yeah, it was just information that I've gathered from all these channelings, as well as, pouring through of what's needed to be said at this moment through them as well. Anyway, let's get into this message. So the first message I want to talk about is lost wisdom during the Egyptian times, and then into the Roman times. The Romans kind of warped this, and that's because the masculine was taking over. So the concept we have, the understanding that we have when we see a picture or hieroglyph or whatever of grapes being fed to a masculine or a male that's lying, on a couch, and he's getting these grapes fed by these beautiful girls, beautiful women, has kind of been warped. And it was really interesting, the message that came through, because I was like, they're telling me, no, that's not how it was when it all started. So what they told me was, in the Egyptian times, they had a potion made out of lotus, and the females would take this potion and they would start to dance in front of the guys. And when they danced, they connected to their divine soul, to source energy, to prime creator, and they could oversee the community, they could oversee the energy of everything, and they would feel into all this information, wisdom, they would pour it through them, and they would dance, and while they were dancing, they were sharing the vibration with the guys as well. So the guys would be surrounding them, lying down, just enjoying, like really enjoying, and them being in their happy space opened up them to feeling some of this wisdom that was coming through these women that were really connected within themselves as they were dancing. And they also, the men were also not only just lying around, they were also protecting the space that the women were dancing in. So as the woman danced, we see it from this kind of perverted place that's been warped by the masculine taking over and forgetting the purpose of what the feminine dance was all about and how important it was for the whole of the community, for females to tap into their divineness, to bring through wisdom. That we forgot about all of that. And then also they used to then get food. I mean, it's usually depicted in the Roman times as grapes, feed it to the men while they were dancing or after they were dancing, and they would still be in the zone, and so the men would be getting the DNA and the awakening through this connection of the food, and the females would be like nurturing the masculine. So the masculine were nurtured and the females were protected. And they said this is how our masculine mind, our logical mind, and our feminine mind needs to come back into balance as well. So there's a protection in this physical world by the masculine side of ourselves, our logical side, where we know how this logical world works. So it's protecting, but not overprotecting, so that, you know, when the logical mind gets a little bit too far, it's like, I'm the one that creates everything, I'm the one that comes up with the idea. No, it can only grab from the past, remember, and project into the future. It can't tune into that divineness. And so this is why we need that connection, that strong connection and understanding and respect of the feminine energy that will be pulling through the imaginings, the connection to past lives that the soul's been on, being able to connect to benevolent beings and so forth, to bring through new information and awareness, to be able to share it out with the community. Also to be able to see the overseeing of the whole energy, the energy fields of the cities and so forth. This area over here needs to be helped or protected, or it's going a little bit skew. It oversees our body, like our minds can oversee our body from the feminine aspect, and when it tunes into our body and understands where our body's illnesses are. And then the masculine's like, okay, well, I need XYZ plant, blah, 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 let's go that way. And so you're working together in a harmonious way of protection and bringing through wisdom and information. So that was such a powerful message to be brought through, and I needed to share that, because now, like, even the lady that I was reading for, she was like, oh, I see it totally different now. You know, we only saw those images of men being fed grapes, and you're like, oh, that's slaves. You know, that's the image that we get from that. And it's not that at all. There was so much more going on back in those days. And it's so good to have my team bringing through some of this wisdom so that we can have this higher awareness and understanding, because that we can only come into balance within ourselves when we have this higher awareness and understanding. Obviously, that was taught to the Romans, and then the Romans took it and went, well, we're in charge. And so they kind of warped it a bit as they went along, but it was all part of that masculine being in charge for the next eons, so that we could learn more about the masculine outside world, separated world, all of that. So it's all part of nothing was wrong with humanity and the journey that we've taken. It's all meant to be in this way. It's perfect divineness in the respect of learning how to handle both personalities within us, because we literally do have these two personalities within us. You know, one's grounding and one's bringing through divineness. And the grounding is just as divine, like the practical playing field is just as divine as the etheric world in the end. We're going to see it that way, because we don't see this practical playing field as very divine. And so we end up having a lot of issues and problems with it. It's like everything's been warped, but it's a place that source energy can play and reside in through this avatar, through this body that we're born in. It can be a fun playground, a fun place to play in. Okay, so that was the first message. I have to get my glasses on to be able to read the chat bar. Hey everybody, Debbie and Tonyan. I don't think I've seen you here on the chat bar before, but hi, welcome. Okay, so now we're going to go into a dream that I had. It was of the future, and it was telling me of things to come. And then they reminded me of this because I was getting messages about what was going on. And if you see the poem that I wrote and the video that I put on Rumble, you'll understand. I was getting messages about what's going on in the world over in USA and so forth. And then when you get into it, you're like, what's really going on? Because I was told that, smart cities are going to be created. And I can't get too far into it because, it could be taken down. So, but I am going to touch this as good as what I can. I'll try to do my best without getting the video taken down. So in the end, I had this dream. I'm going to start from the dream premonition back in 2000, and then we will talk about what it was telling me about. So my team brought me back to that dream because in the dream, first of all, I had dinosaurs attacking me, draconian, let's put it that way. They were attacking me. They swiped me 3 times on the arm. They didn't get any further. I was protected enough, but I had to go through some lessons of my own. So that's what that 3, like the claw mark on my arm, was about. You still have to go through some lessons because they're actually waking you up. They were waking me up to go, how do I get out of this? Because when you put in an awkward position, then you have to find your way out of it, and then you realize how strong and powerful you are. So it's actually, that's how it works. And so I was attacked. And then there was this big boom, and the big boom hit this. It was like a sonic sound of some wicked vibration that I can't, in my head I see lightning hitting this rock that was before me. The rock was really huge. It was taller than me. It was just this massive rock, just one like oval kind of shaped rock. And I think now when I see it, I see like lightning hit it, but I can't remember the lightning hitting it in the dream. I think it was just this boom, like, whoa, wake up, like a wake up call, different vibration, like something powerful happening. And it cracked the rock to 2/3 to 1/3. So it's split, not half, but that way. And then I realized that the 1/3 was those that weren't awoken. And it was meant to be that way because source energy has another plan. There's another plan. It's like we go deeper into these plans of creation. And at first, when you go into an unknown vortex or unknown, unstable place, it can be very imbalanced. And so the imbalanced people were going deeper. There was something to do with that. But then we were all on the same planet. So when I moved past the rock, I was all of a sudden on a shoreline. The sea was coming up, and there was just all of these salamanders on the shore. And I'm like, well, they're all the ones going back to the start of their evolution. They're consuming and having to learn a lot about themselves. But where do we put them? I was literally standing there going, okay, well, this has happened in humanity's society. Now, what do I do with them? And so then I saw an island, and I'm like, can we put them on the island? And then they can find their own way, but with their own self, with their own energy line, because we want to create something different on Earth. Over here, we want to create beauty. We want to create harmony and peace. We want to expand our reality into, being able to converse and talk to the trees and the wildlife, and be able to be connected more and live in a harmonious way with Mother Earth, as well as all the physical technical things that we've also learned. Take what we need out of that to be able to create a world or cities within our own right. And I always saw them as like giant crystals around the outside, that humanity with their telepathic communication be able to tap into these giant crystals and keep an eye on the energy field of everything, and do have those dances that we had in the past, and with the feminines being able to use their connection to oversee cities, or that we have created everything. There was things in there that we could practice, like telekinesis, materialization, being able to use gifts beyond what our logical physical world only saw, and play in these energies, but only through the harmony of ourselves and Mother Earth. Anything had to be going through harmony first, and a collectiveness. There's something more there. I can feel it, and I feel it's messages that's going to come through in the future, that's held within me. I can feel it. But at the moment, let's focus in on what we were bringing through. So they told me that island that was in the center, that I said, let's pull them all together and put them on the island, will be the smart cities. So here we are in this world, in this earth, and then we have maybe the odds. It's not going to be the whole of the earth, remember, but they might pop up, and then all of them can come together and learn, because there will be a victim perpetrator reality within those cities, because someone is trying to control many, and many are being victim to the controllers. So it's kind of that's how they work. To wake them up to, you know what, I can find divineness and wholeness within myself, no longer needed to be the victim or the controller, because I control who I am and where I'm going. Now, when you have full capacity and control on where you're going, you would choose the path that makes you feel good. You would choose the path that aligns with your happiness, and knowing full well that you deserve that happiness. So that's what we're creating on the rest of the world. So I feel that with that dream, and with what's going on here now, I can understand now why things are being cleared and things are going to be produced, and then there's going to be like bubbles of places that they won't understand. They will be driven through fear. So they would see the outer world as a fear thing, but on the outside, we will be in harmony with everything. Now, you know already that there's been movies and so forth brought up where they always show that the outside world is doom and gloom, and it's really hard and all that sort of stuff. No, that's coming from a fear-based mind. It is not going to be hard. I can tell you, promise you that now. If you have awoken within your own right, and you know your happiness, you know where you're going, you will use what you need to create the reality that brings more conducive happiness to yourself. And you will know that you deserve to live in these beautiful places, and you will create incredible places, because humanity has the most amazing imagination. And that's another reason why we've been gifted the responsibility of being able to be awoken again into this, because of our imagination is so awesome. And it will produce, can you imagine what we can produce when we don't have control over it? Somebody's been controlling our imagination, so that we've been told to imagine what they want. Our imagination has been held hostage. So, and that holding of our imagination hostage, meaning that the programs pulled over our eyes is getting us into a focused attention of fear-based reality. And then they go, here, look at this, be afraid. And so we start to create our world around the fear. And then what happens when you create through fear? You create more fear, more things to be afraid of. But when that's been put in its place, let's create those little bubbles of smart cities or whatever, and they go do their thing over there. They can create whatever they want, but in the end, it will consume itself, because anything that's unbalanced will end up consuming itself in the end. I'm not certain about the timing and all of that, but I do feel this is what is going to happen. And then humanity in the outskirts of all of that will be learning how to become more telepathic and connected to Mother Earth, and move towards their happy space. And we'll still be able to use things that we've learned in the past in the practical playing field. How do we use Teslas, free energy, all of that sort of stuff. And it will be in an understanding of we are whole within ourselves, so we can trust each other, because we are the ones that are we have to trust ourselves in choosing the right tribe, the right pod, the right people to come into our community. We're trusting our way, and we're feeling into it, and we're seeing everybody from a non-judgmental perspective. Everything kind of shifts when you come into balance with yourself. It's really hard to explain from to people that haven't felt that feeling before. It's a euphoric feeling within yourself, and you know thyself. To explain that from a position of being imbalanced and fear-based, it's just going to bounce off because they haven't found it within themselves. It's something that you have to find within yourself through the shadow work that you do. So that's why a lot of us light workers have gone through a lot of shadow work. Look at yourself, look at yourself, look at yourself, like constantly. Oh my God, did I have that program within me? Wow, I have to really address that, and then find out where I was lacking within myself. And it's the more that you find out where you're lacking in yourself, the more that you start to embrace yourself, you start to feel supported, not because someone's supporting you from the outside, but because you're supporting yourself. You speak the truth, you know where you're going. And people like me that are actually coming forward with this information, there's lots of us out there now. We are guiding the way, and showing you guys, yes, stand in your authentic truth, become the person that you really want to become. You don't have any fear in that place, because you intuitively know, oh, this doesn't feel right, I'm moving myself away from it. You don't even need to entangle into that story, because if somebody has a story that is pulling them under, why would you want to be pulled under with them? You already know that you are supported within yourself. You don't need their authority to tell you how good you are anymore. You are that. You are beautiful. You are magnificent. And so you'll go out into the world with the other 2/3 and you'll create this beautiful reality. And then those that leave the so-called smart cities, who've got this fear driven in them through all these movies and programs and stuff, that, oh my God, it's terrible out there, that when they actually do leave, they'll have a place to go, because they would have already have found an imbalance within the imbalance and gone, I need to get out of this to save my soul, to save myself, to move out of this. And they will find these places that are probably hidden in higher dimensional spaces. We already have some that are already here in higher dimensional spaces. Mount Shasta is one of them. There, Lake Titicaca is another place. There's places that there's higher vibrations, and you will all of a sudden trip up over them as well, because you're in balance with that frequency where you wouldn't have seen them before. So maybe they will go out until they actually find their true authentic self and go looking for these places, and then they'll have to go on a journey of recognizing that they're supporting themselves, and maybe it's a lone journey or whatever. We're all going through it right here, right now. But I'm talking about in the future, right? When this is where the split happens, and they're telling me everything has its nemesis. So that's another thing that came through a channel message with someone too. Everything has its nemesis, but I have been told it before, where they showed me even the most enlightened planet has a nemesis planet over there. The higher you go into these frequencies, you can create what you want out of love and conducive love for yourself. But to have a nemesis means you have something that you can dip into if you're getting too stagnated, so that you can bounce off and learn to grow and evolve. That helps the evolution of the program birthing into, or the source energies prime creators program birthing into a better world, more and more creations. Not just saying better world, like saying they said, don't say better world. Okay, so not better world, but more and more creations, and more playing fields to play in. So we always have, they showed me the yin yang symbol. We always have the negative and the positive, and the negative. It's all needed. And it's not positive and negative. When you're on the other side, you feel that you're in the right. You're just evolving and growing and developing a story through that evolution of yourself anyway. There's a lot more in these higher frequencies out there. That's why when we, at this moment in the imbalanced state, when we look out, we can't see anything because we're contained. But when we do shift into a more balanced, conducive self, we will start to have interactions with higher benevolent beings. Anything that is warped it usually is contained, because it has to be contained. Otherwise, it can run amok with so many beautiful creations that are coming from love, that are coming in alignment with central source energy, which is the soul, yourself, the whole of everything. It's so beautiful. Yeah. So yeah, that's a pretty powerful story right there that they showed me. Everything changes. You don't see them as a nemesis anymore. You don't see them as, they have to go through so much. Those ones that are pulled into that are going to go through so much shadow work. If you've ever done shadow work, you know how intense it is. It's really quite difficult. It's not an easy path. So if you're already put yourself in an imprisonment of that shadow work that you have to move through anyway. It's like a very difficult situation for a soul to awaken from all the guilt, the fear, that coming into alignment with, oh my God, it was me that created all of these problems, from my own lack of not feeling balanced within myself. So I projected the evil outward into controlling others. They have to do all that work. They have to look at themselves very, very honestly, and then forgive themselves, forgive everything that they did, and move. Then that will just awaken them into absolute compassion for everything, because everything that's living is source energy going on a journey. It's a magical thing. There is nothing that is lost, but there are things that are contained. Just so that it can awaken into something and not muck up a whole heap more. So anyway, that's there. There. Okay, so now I want to get into another thing. I actually did write this out. Evil comes from fear projected out to control another because they can't control their inner world. Best to leave them with their own sabotaging thoughts, so they have to do the inner work and go create the reality you desire. Then they have a place to go when they are in line with a balanced mind. So then you're actually creating the beauty, but they're having to go through a lot of work first, and you don't need to involve yourself in it. As soon as you say you should be, you need to, you're already entangled in their story. You become part of their story. Do you want to become part of their story, or do you want to go shift your vibration into, I want to create a beautiful place over here for me to live in harmony with myself? Because in the end, how you feel is your world. How you feel is your world. So if you're entangling in with their energy because you want them punished, because you want them this, you want them that, then you're already in that world of becoming what they are. You literally, I will punish you, becoming what they are. You're entangled in that. So best leave them on their own. When they're on their own, they fall over. They literally have to look at themselves. They've got nowhere else to go but in a world. When they're left on their own to do their own device, they have to look at themselves. But that's just singling something out there. Anything that is in these smart cities and so forth that is entangled with the victim controlling situation, that program's gone. It's gone. We don't want to be part of that program anymore. We want to create something completely conducive to being in harmony with ourselves and living a beautiful life. This is where we want to go. So we have to start focusing in on that. What does that look like? How does that feel like? How does it feel like to feel abundant? The universe goes, oh, they're feeling abundant. I'm going to bring them more abundance. Like, you are the central point. How you feel is your world. You are creating your world. And when you start to realize that, you won't want to be entangled in with those people anymore. It's just like, even when I bring things up, I'm not feeling into it too much, I'm like, I can see where I can go because I've been in those deep places, but I know within an instant I can get my mind out of it. Within an instant, I don't let their problems become my emotions. I don't allow it anymore. It's like if it ever started to happen, I would take a deep breath and go, okay, what do I really want to make myself happy right now? I bring myself back to me and my happiness. And because I can do that and I'm good at it now, you can go deeper into feeling into where they're actually going so that you can draw out the story and go, you know what? That's their story and they're not ready. They're not ready to come yet. They need to go explore more. And source energy wouldn't allow that to happen. Like prime creator, whatever you want to call it, God, prime creator, source energy, the universe wouldn't want that, wouldn't allow that to even happen unless it was necessary for something that prime creator is exploring or feeling into or wanting to feel into. There's a reason for it. We don't always see every single perspective. Especially from this limited human mind that we have right here. Okay, I want to channel through some messages and see if anything else comes up. Hey, everyone. Hey, Linda. Good to see you. Hey, Hazardous Condition. Okay, let's get into channel messages. Channel messages. They're showing me a spiral. They're showing me some things that are going to be found on in ruins from a long time ago. A lot is awoken through the melting of the water and this ice and wisdom held within the ice. It's people awakening and then drinking that water, and it's like an awakening within the water. Then they know where to go to these indigenous sites, these ancient ruins, and then they will find many more understandings there, but they need to take it from a spiritual perspective. This is definitely going to happen over the next, they're showing me till 2030. It's an absolute, because we need to draw upon things that were forgotten because of our unbalanced mind, and it was supposed to be forgotten. Now it has to be remembered. They're showing me the remembering. There's a remembering that's happening. The great remembering is upon us. The great remembering. I literally wrote that down on my phone just before I came here, and I'm like, I know this is important, so I wrote it down. The great remembering is upon us, and this is how this great remembering is happening. We have the ice melting in specific areas that hold vibrational codes. The water has memory, and when it's frozen like that, it is in reflection to the parts of humanity that was frozen within our reality, that kept us in a limited concept of we are the only ones in this whole amazing galaxy. So we became limited. We didn't know that there was others out there, and we were in our own little contained bubble. And there was observers of other beings coming, that ones that had interacted with us in the past, but they were all waiting for a specific moment to arrive. And with our awakening of these specific codes, will lighting up cells, wisdom within our cells, our DNA, will also gift us in reflection more expansive awareness, and that's when we get communication with telepathic beings that are off-world, interdimensional beings that are in a world. All sorts of things are going to come forth, and an understanding of the greater concept of what Earth is. There's a greater concept. It was like half of us was shut down. Now it's showing me that beetle again. They often show this beetle where a wing was put to sleep, and then the beetle could only spin in circles, because if the logical mind's the only thing that's away, and it only grabs from the past, projects into the future, all the stories, it can't create new stories. we spin in a circle and we're trapped in that circle. We're trapped in the maze. And it's depicted in the fairy tales. I always bring that up as well with that bug for some reason, because I always see that right hemisphere put to sleep, and then that's the feminine side. So in the fairy tales we have Snow White that's put to sleep, you know, Sleeping Beauties. Feminine side's put to sleep. What happens is the masculine has to come along and support that feminine self, that want to kiss or love the feminine side of self within your own self. Everything's going to change up when that happens, because you become unified within yourself. When you become unified within yourself, your relationships become unified outside of yourself. You end up magnetizing the right partners towards you. And so when you are conducively creating together out of love, the world shifts into that, because the imagination's poured through and it's respected, and we are starting to create the reality we want. We're not held hostage by specific beings that were holding us in a holding cell through that. Look at our fear game. Hate us. We want you to hate us, because when you hate us, you're entangled with us. They want you to hate them. They really love that. So don't go there. Yeah. So this is a world that we're creating now. The story that is evolving might seem to look like, oh my God, what's happening? They are preparing for their little bubbled cities. They're preparing for them because they know humanity is waking up, and they won't be able to fit. They won't be able to meet them, because when you walk up to someone with absolutely no fear, they have nothing to bounce off with. They're looking for someone who's in fear, because they're afraid within themselves. They want to control themselves. They can't control themselves, so they want to control someone outside of themselves. When they can't control someone that's not in fear, because they know they can get themselves out of any mess at any given time, when they know that they can't control you because you have no fear of them, then they don't know how to do that. So they're going to create these bubbles where they only bring in the people that are really stirred into fear game, victimization game. So the only way that for you to get yourself out of this is to do the inner work, go into the emotions, feel into the lack of yourself. Why have you brought in these specific relationships that are showing you horrible things? Because you lacked within yourself, and you thought that person could feel into you and fuel it. And when they couldn't, you ended up blaming them for not fueling what you were meant to fuel yourself. So this is all about support, self-fueling, self-loving, all of that sort of stuff, as we branch off and start to create an absolutely freaking fantastic world over here that's in balance. And it's not going against the masculine. It's not going against the feminine. It's not going against anything. It is, wow, we can work together now. We know each other's, we know that side of ourselves, that we don't understand it completely, but we respect it because of what it's bringing to the table. Because the masculine logical mind can never really understand fully where that intuitive mind is coming from. It's separated in that respect, because then it gives us something to work with, and that's why you will always have the yin yang with the negative and the positive moving through it. So yeah, we're moving towards this world now. There's a lot that are already collectively starting to unify within the energy field. They might not be telepathic yet, but they're telling me that they're connected in a unified energetic way, and they are all moving up together. In other words, when one awakens, it sparks an awakening in many others. And so all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I can feel now how to navigate my world for creating what I want. I feel into the abundance of myself. And now I'm starting to see outside of myself the abundance coming towards me. Oh my God. And if I lose it a little bit, all of a sudden it starts to fall away again. And then I'm like, okay, I've got to get back into that energy field that I was aligned with before, which is a connected energy field with light workers and that are placed around the world. And then you feel back into it again because you felt it before. And then you start seeing your world outside of you becoming more abundant again. You're like, oh my God, I'm starting to understand this now. I'm working towards creating a better, abundant world with these others. And so you are empowering yourself or situating yourself as a light worker, as an empowered being, grounding abundance into this world so you feel safe in this world now. Now you can start to do the magic. Now you can start to do the work. And others that you are foreseeing others. So you will do this while others aren't understanding you. And so don't get down on those that don't understand you. You were supposed to be the forerunners, the guides. You're not supposed to judge them because you're supposed to be the ones that navigate or go through the path first. Like there is and they're showing me like a land with a lot of bramble and bushes and oh my God, it's just a mess. And then you're the one that goes, I'm the one that has the sword of truth. And they're showing me now Sleeping Beauty. He comes with the sword of truth. It's a shield of virtue, is it? And the sword of truth. And the sword of truth cuts through all of the bramble and I'm making my own path because I know I have a really strong connection to my soul and where it's been, and I have a really strong feeling base. Remember, my feeling is my world. So my feeling is directing me towards this path, and I am supporting it 100%. You won't have anyone else supporting you. You need to support yourself in this endeavor, because that's what's bringing you the power to be able to create and carve this new path. And then others will start to see the path. And, oh, my God, that path's awesome. Let's tap into that path. And when they tap into that path, they become part of the puzzle that we're creating, this new tapestry of new worlds, new realities through our imagination. Excuse me. They bring in their soul's lineage, their soul's imagination into it as well. And so we start to conducively work together because we're in alignment with the same frequency. So beautiful what they're showing me. This is where we're going. This is where we're going in this world. We don't want to be entangled with the other world anymore. Let them create their bubbles over there. Doesn't matter. Let them do it. It was supposed to happen. It was just supposed to happen. How else could it happen? And eventually they're showing me they will create enough technology, but still out of balance, that will end up taking them off planet and onto another planet. And that will be the nemesis of the beautiful new Earth that is created. And so they will be on another planet, and they will still, every now and then, if our Earth is finding themselves a little bit bored with their creations, then they will come and poke them. It's interesting what they're showing me. It's like the nemesis comes and pokes you when you're getting a little bit sleepy and you're not creating or evolving anymore. And then you're like, oh, we have to create and evolve. And we're talking a long time into the future here, but this is where they're taking me. They want to show us an overseeing of an understanding. As Cyanians are definitely coming in here now. This is who I'm channeling through. So they want to show us this overseeing of the pattern of reality, of how things are created. It can't be all pretty and beautiful all the time because you don't have that push, but you don't want that push to be limiting you to the concept where you just don't expand at all either. It can go either way, right? It's so cool. And it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. So even when you're in this beautiful, high, more vibrational world where you're opening up more gifts of telekinesis, teleportation, telepathy, astral traveling, all of those sort of stuff, when you're starting to open up all of that, you're still going to have moments in your reality where, that annoyed me, because they want you to break through something that's just getting too comfortable, where you're just not really evolving anymore. Even in our history of all histories, before long time ago, this reality, this universe, this galaxy had a very strong hold by the Vegans and Lyrans. And they were creator beings, and they created so much, but they become very weak within their vessel. And they come to the pinnacle of their creation. They didn't have anything to really push back. So prime creator in its creation and how it works, awoken or opened up a portal for the Draconians to come through into this reality. Now, the Draconians were more of a consumer-based, very practical playing field, material world playing field. So when they came through, they saw these beautiful planets, and they're like, "Can we be part of it? Can you give us one of those planets?" And then the lines are like, "We don't even know who you are." And so the Draconians turned around and went, "Well, we're just going to blow up for you." So they start blowing up a few to try to get fear into the game. And see, this is the resistance to awaken. So the Lyrans ended up taking off in their ships to try to find DNA that would strengthen their bloodline. And this is how they come across Earth in the end as well. So we are part that and part that. So now we're learning to come together and learning to love each aspect of ourselves, which is going to awaken them into, oh, we see the bigger picture. There's a bigger picture now, because humanity has found love within themselves. When we find love within, I can see now the resistance that was needed for us to evolve into something beautiful, into something better. It's such a beautiful story. It's just how it works. It's just how creation works, because otherwise it gets stagnated. Death is stagnation. Death is limitation. It's stagnation. It's not death that we see it as, like leaving a soul leaving this body is actually exploring something else. It's actually creating still. It's just that this body returns back to Earth, right? In the field of Earth, in the air, or wherever, if you're cremated or put out to sea, whatever it is, it's consumed back into the field, the same biological field of Earth, and it's meant to be that way. So yeah, just a whole other story. And now we're developing into another story, and we're splitting away, but we've still got that little bit of negative within the beautiful positive of that yin yang symbol. It has to be that way, so that we have that push pull. Oh, we're getting lazy. We've got that push now. From the other side, it is just part of it, because when source energy created themselves, there was a blemish, and it had to be a blemish for the evolution to grow. There's not one thing in nature that doesn't have a blemish. This is why a perfect something isn't perfect, because it doesn't have the space or the something to grow and evolve. There's something to do with that as well. It's not about perfection. We are perfectly imperfect. Like I literally had Celtic actually gave me a little bit of my astrology chart, and she's like, "Yeah, you have a lot of Virgos," and I knew I had a lot of Virgos in me. You're going to watch out for perfectionists. And I sent her back, "Yeah, I know. I've already learned this lesson. I've learned to be perfectly imperfect, because otherwise I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't go live. I wouldn't create. I would be so stuck in my drawings have to be so perfect that I wouldn't share them with anyone. I mean, and even as perfect as they were, I didn't share them with anyone for ages, for years. I didn't channel until I turned, like 52 or something like that. I didn't do this work until now, because I finally learnt the lesson. You have to be perfectly imperfect to move into this world. My fear was not being seen as perfect. And now I'm just like, you know what? I've let it go. It's okay not to be perfect. So yeah, but that is an absolute understanding now how to evolve. We cannot be perfect. It's part of the beauty in birthing uniqueness and growth. It's part of the beauty of that, and it's beautiful. It really is. So yeah, thanks Celtic for sharing all of that again. Hey Javier. Yeah, hi Diana, good to see you. And hey Trina, good to see some new people in the chat bar. I know quite a few people will be on holidays, camping at the moment and that sort of stuff, which is so cool. Yeah, Anyway, is there any other messages that want to come through? It's pretty powerful at the moment. I'm getting a lot of powerful messages at the moment. So yeah, if you want to take a look at that Rumble, don't forget I also have a school called Amakel. Amakel is my cool new baby. It's a new school. It's got lots of telepathic games, and it's going to just get more and more because my imagination's just sparking with all these new ideas, especially when my 10 comes in and tells me, do this one next. There's lessons and there's telepathic games. You can get the silver tier, which means you can get both, or you can get just ruby tier, which is just the telepathic games. And practice makes perfect, right? It's kind of like practice to let go of your logical mind and go into the void of your intuitive mind. It's practicing that. But also some of these games take you on journeys and awaken things and all sorts of stuff. So it's just going to get more and more and more expansive. I'm not stopping it. I'm going to do it. It's forever now. This is one of those ones I'm not. I absolutely love creating the games. So yeah, I think there's about 50 on there already. So I've done heaps already. Just feeling into what else I need to bring up here. Yeah, I'm an intuitive counselor. If you want to book a one-on-one reading, my prices are going up at the end of this week. So if you want a reading just the last few days on the old prices, which are a lot less, then go there. I had to upgrade into a different price because I was bringing through so much good information, and I was looking. I just need to be able to support myself. So it's one of those things as well. It just had to happen. I haven't upgraded those prices for quite some time, so they're quite low anyway. Even the ones that I've, increased are still low compared to a lot of people out there. Because I wanted others that didn't have so much money to be able to get readings. In any case, that's there. And yeah, so go check out my Rumble, my YouTube, more of my YouTube's heaps and heaps of messages on my YouTube. Portals into Pleiades. I have an interview coming up with Michael Kopf. So he's got a really cool show. I will bring that into my community panel when that starts to come. That's the 4th of February. That's happening, or 5th of February in Australia. It's actually when I'm house sitting a new house sit. So it's going to be interesting how that all happens. But I will get that and definitely do that. Yeah, and I just did an interview with Robert Carley. Also, if you want to help me, I knew there was something else. This is why I was hanging on. I haven't even brought it up, but my GoFundMe is still going. So if you really want to help me, because I'm going to New York in April, and this is to pay for the tickets and the accommodation, all that. I'm going to channel live on stage, and I'm hoping that this is going to take me what I feel like. Mind you, missions can change. But I've always had it in my head that I'm supposed to go on stage and activate and help others and channel live on stage in front of lots. So that's where I feel I'm taken. And it's just happened. All this money started pouring through. So if you want to go help with that, that would be really good. We're halfway there. We're halfway to the amount that we were going to get this up and running. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you to everybody that has given, just a few dollars or whatever. It doesn't matter, but thank you so much for the donations so far in that GoFundMe. I think I put the link down below. Pretty sure I did. Okay, everybody. Thank you for being part of this. I think I'll leave it here. Don't forget, I do tarot. I love doing the tarot because it's fun, but I channel a lot through my tarot. And on Thursday morning, which could be your Wednesday morning. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting. But in any case, look that up on the time zone because I'm in Brisbane, Australia. And so yeah, go take a look at that, because at the end of the tarot, lots of really powerful messages come through with that. And at the end of it, I also bring up free chat bar readings for those in the chat bar. Yeah, any donations that you give to me, whether it be on the chat bar or through the GoFundMe, will go straight to getting me to New York. So yeah, Thanks, everybody. Love you heaps. Bye.